Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Facebook world. So we've just come out of our workshop, which was called The Art of Loving Men. And I really had to take a day to myself yesterday to integrate it, because I actually felt like I got workshopped at my own workshop. Oh wow, it was just incredible. Like, yeah, without a doubt, the probably the most powerful workshop I've had the pleasure of facilitating. A whole new level of just connection and love and openings and deep healing. So amazing. So Aaron and I wanted to jump on and share about some of the experience of the workshop that were really profound. So do you want to share this?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think just for one, witnessing 20 women really go deep into their own selves, into their patterns, into their recognition of how many ways they weren't honoring and loving their own masculine within, I think is probably one of the most powerful things. And I love how much EJ speaks about the inner marriage and really coming back to that inner marriage in the first day. That's a lot of what we dove into, was ways that women can more profoundly love their own inner man, so that they have that much more love and capacity to share with external men in their life. And so tools, practices, embodiments, things like that. And it was really beautiful just to watch the layers unfolding, both within ourselves as well as in the group. And that's the beauty of workshop space, is getting to actively participate as well as facilitate.
Yeah, beautiful. And I just really loved so much of it. And one of the important pieces was being able to really get to know and evolve our inner masculine, and through that being able to show up for a man in a really powerful, present way, and make it safe for him to be vulnerable and to surrender. And there was something that you said that was really about that within the workshop that was really just a profound piece for me on surrendering. And I can't remember exactly what you said now, but it was
There's some help. Glue of magic, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was magic. I felt like I needed to write notes at my own workshop. So that was a big piece. And we came together as women on the first day, and we came together as brothers, which I thought was just incredible, to feel other women's masculine energy and feel supported and held by each other. And on the second day, we've really dropped into how can we drop into more of our feminine seductress energy and the conscious seductress.
Yummy.
And from that place, seduce a man's heart open, so that he can then drop into his vulnerability and into his surrender. And then once we'd done that piece, we brought men into the space. And I have to say, I'm so proud of how much the woman really went there. And I think it's also a testament to what Aaron held and what I held, as to how deep that the participants will go. Like, if we're willing to go there, then they'll be willing to go there. And if our space is held safely enough, and of course the woman, the love and the connection that was shared was just incredibly beautiful. It was like the most connection of love I've felt in a workshop space that I've been in, between these women. It was just so like juicy and incredible and opening, and like so many hearts were just being opened, walls were being like smashed through, like walls of protection being smashed through, tears, laughter, it was amazing.
The walls are being smashed through right now as well.
I don't know if you can hear, there's something going on over there, some construction, like doing something over there.
But yeah, I love that space because it's permission is granted to really move through the patterns and the limiting beliefs and the ways of experiencing the world when you're doing it with a group of people. And it's one of the reasons I love workshop space. And it really segued into this pretty vulnerable transmission that EJ led in worshiping my cock. And really it wasn't even necessarily my cock, it was my entire body. Yeah. And just such deep reverence and appreciation, and really just representing not just like myself as a man, but the collective men, and the deep shame I feel like that's held. Especially, I was just doing a video about the death of the nice guy, and one of the biggest things I moved through in this transmission was this part inside of me that even in receiving, even in allowing myself to receive, like felt like I needed to perform a certain way. I needed to like get it right a certain way. And it was funny because I was walking through the very same thing that a week before when we had practice, I had said to EJ, like, you don't need to get it right. And here I was like receiving in full surrender, but yet there's still this voice in my head that's like, oh, you gotta be hard, you gotta perform for the crowd. And I was just watching this voice have this chatter in my head, and the more I just let that go, the more I allowed myself just to go into this really deep vulnerability of tears, of joy, of surrender, and just feeling like the whole collective of all the men that were there, but not even the men that were there, just the men in general that always feel this pressure of needing, especially in the bedroom, of like needing to be hard and needing to perform and needing to get things right, because then the result is if they don't do that, then life won't be good, and they're going to be scrutinized and pushed down. And I just let all that go, and deep, profound tears and vulnerability move through me. Yeah.
It was potent. It was so incredible. And as Aaron said, we'd practiced. So I was like, okay, I want to let you know what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be demonstrating during a transmission of the next week. And some of the loving feedback that Aaron gave me is he could feel sometimes where I was trying to get it right. And I was like, yeah, because I don't want to fuck this up. Like, I'm going to have 40 people watching it. Like, I don't want to fuck this up. Like, it's, I've got to make it look good. Which was actually not allowing the feminine wisdom and magic to come through me. And Aaron shared this with me, and he said, it's impossible for you to fuck this up, because when you're in that wisdom, doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist. The feminine can't fuck this up. It was actually my inner nice guy, which is Aaron, that was trying to get it right. It was like trying to please and trying to perform, and Aaron could feel that, right? And so during the week, it was really interesting. Some things happened to me where I started to shift this need to get things right, and this wisdom, this magic came through me. I woke up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning and was just typing in my phone all the stuff that needed to come through in the ritual, and it was completely different to anything I'd ever done before. Like, I mean, I'd done a number of things, different practices, but it was just like I just got a download of the whole ritual basically, and it was like a framework for the ritual, and then my magic would come through within that. And so Aaron had no idea, like, going into this, what I was going to be doing, like, no clue. And I was like, I'm not telling you what I'm doing. And the beauty of it was on the first day when we did the inner masculine, and I felt something shift on that day, because we actually had one woman that couldn't make it, so I had to actually be in and partner with the other woman, so that and I felt like that actually was the magic happening, because I needed to get some of that magic that Aaron had was facilitating around the masculine, and really tapping into these energetic balls, so I could be really present. And so when the next day when I showed up and to facilitate and do the transmission of the tantric cock worship ritual, it was from this place where my masculine really held this deep presence, and in every moment I was just so present to him, and there was like 40 people watching, and it was like they weren't even there. I mean, I could hear them cry, I could hear them crying. Like, they were like loud tears, when you can hear people sobbing, like people were yeah, really, yeah, actually there's a great question there that I want to answer. Thank you, Paul. And I could hear that, but then also, you know, like really coming back to just being present and following whatever flow like just needed to happen. And I'm not going to get too much into what we did, but it's something that, you know, can't really be, I suppose, described apart from what the feelings that came through. But you know, as Aaron expressed, like he did be really vulnerable. He did express like sadness and tears and things that were coming through. And you know, when we think of cock worship, people might think it's like a lingam massage or something, or a blowjob, but it's actually honoring who he is as a man in the world and how he shows up, and all of him, not just this really strong, present masculine, but also this soft, vulnerable feminine that is longing to be held and needs to feel safe sometimes. That, you know, there was a point where he was like just completely lying on me, and I was just holding him, and some of the words was just saying, you know, you're safe here, I've got you, I'm here, I support you. And the leaning back was kind of the action of like actually feeling like you could just lean back and that it's not going to topple over.
And that for me, I mean, if you're listening to this and you're a man and you always feel like, you know, that your woman doesn't support you, or you feel like you have never made space to really be held, some of them, both in this moment and some of the biggest moments I've ever felt in my life, are when a woman has showed up in deep, powerful presence for me and really for my own inner woman, because there's a safety, there's a space where I can really let go, and I can surrender, and I can deepen into my own vulnerability. And that's exactly what came through. And I've been there before, but it was something even more profound that I was moving through. And to feel EJ's presence, to feel her masculine self that was like, listen, like, I got you, let go, let go, it's okay. And just those words, it's like whether they're sisterly or motherly or brotherly or fatherly, whatever it is, it's just knowing, it's like hearing it in the soul and saying, wow, like, I don't need to perform and to be ready to get things right and to please in every fucking moment. And having that and allowing myself to really go there and to feel the presence and the love and the appreciation and the gratitude that was just exuding out of her being gave me more and more permission just to really let go. And so many other men that were in the room, if you're listening to this and you were in the room, I'd love to hear like what moved for you, whether it's now or later after you're listening to this recording. But the feedback after was just like, wow, they had never seen a man surrender so much. And it was just what was happening for me. And it's like there's a collective need, I feel like, in men especially, that you can let go of the barriers, like let go a little bit. You don't need to have every single thing figured out at every moment. And as I've said this many times in live videos and the teachings I do, the more I've given myself permission to go into that feminine vulnerability, like deep surrender, the stronger, the more present, the more online, the more capable my masculine shows up into the world. And that alone is such a powerful takeaway that I know, like, that's what the feedback of what the men were sharing. And it's like, now's the time. It's and to be worshipped and to feel my cock worshipped and not my cock worshipped being soft and not needing to be hard in that situation was just so like, it just like all the cells in my body were just saying, yes, thank God I can be appreciated in this way.
Yeah, and when Aaron was receiving, I don't know if I can really call it a lingam massage, because it was just whatever, like the touch was just coming from whatever I was feeling drawn to. It was of the whole body. And so, yeah, with that, there was a piece where I just actually said to him, you know, there's no pressure here to perform. This is all about you being in full receptivity to allow for this healing, you know, because I know that there can be a piece in that point in time where a man goes, okay, she's touching my cock, why am I not hard? I need to be hard. And that is not what the intention is for this type of work. It's not about him needing to do any kind of performance. And so many carry a lot of shame about when they are not hard or when they're soft. And at one point, I think I said, I love it when your cock's soft, or like something like that. And it was just recognizing that I'm, you know, loving the cock and all, whether it's soft, whether it's hard, no matter what shape, what size, like just loving it exactly as it is. And the other thing that I did bring through was different energies that I tapped into. So at the beginning of the ritual, there was there was an undressing ritual, which I really felt was more this kind of erotic mother energy that was coming through of nurturing and softness. And then moving into I dropped into a more masculine energy. It's kind of setting a foundation for the next piece. And then the priestess came through with this real setting my boundaries, but also exploring vulnerability within that. And then again, I think I went more into an erotic mother where I was holding him, and then dropping into more of a seductress where we had strawberries and chocolate and feathers and oils and yeah. So exploring all these different energies, and the masculine loves the different flavors of the feminine. Sometimes a man will this more of this erotic mother, but sometimes they want a bit more of a slutty, sexy kind of energy, and sometimes they need you to be in your man and be like, okay, you're safe, and I'm here, and you're held.
Yeah, and one of the questions Paul just asked, it's when I'm speaking of masculine, feminine, there's an essence of understanding the polarities of our beingness in this human form, so that there's comprehension on different ways that we show up in the world. At a soul level, we're hermaphrodites. We're equally, completely masculine as we are feminine. And one of the feedback that I love, that I think it was Alicia that said, at the end of it, she felt wow, so powerful to witness. It didn't even, almost like the role, you couldn't even tell who was a male, who was a female. It was just this flow. And that's the nature, if you want to say into more tantric work, is you get to a point, and it's like the genders don't even mean anything, because they're not even genders. They're just polarities that assist in the mind to comprehending the universal nature of existence. They're polarities that give a reference point to understanding the human body that we're inside of, so that the soul can come allow into beautiful, impeccable beings that we recognize ourselves as. And in many ways, on a soul level, there isn't duality, yet there's still a nature of two different forms of identification. And beyond that identification, yes, is eternal existence, where the soul doesn't even really exist. So we're returning into eternal everything. But that tantric nature of life, of existence, of love, being worshipped allows the individual to come alive back into that life force creation, that life force power that's inside. And vulnerability is a pathway, is a gateway into accessing all of the things that are getting in the way from fully being inside of that power.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. It's so just the power of vulnerability. And one of the men actually said it was so nice to see the strength that Aaron had when he was in his vulnerability, how strong that was. And there was another woman there who, a lot of the women said that they cried the whole way through. Other men said that they had not cried like this for a while. There was all different expressions that had come through from both men and women, and that they felt like they got a healing just from watching, just from watching the transmission of that they healed something deep within them. And if you were there and you saw it, please feel free to comment so that other people can see what you got out of witnessing that. My phone battery's about to die, so we're gonna have to go, but I did want to mention here that with this work, we're going to continue doing these workshops, or even looking at doing a longer version and do maybe a retreat overseas. Aaron travels a lot, so he'll be away, but I'll be doing some work still here in Australia on this kind of thing. And so, if it's something that you're interested in, please comment below that you're interested. You can say interested, and I can put you on a little notification list, so that when we are doing this work in the future, that we'll let you know, so that you can come and experience this as well. And I do sessions as well for men doing this kind of work, or I also teach women how to do this kind of work as well. And Aaron does coaching too.
Yeah, and if you're called to this, again, leave a comment, some feedback. We're kind of brainstorming ourselves on how we want to bring this out continuously into the world, and I have a couple of retreats running at the end of the year in Bali, and looking to maybe kind of co-create something along those lines. So if you want to really dive into this and dive into your own beingness and your own ability to love yourself so that you can love more effectively and brilliantly others, and relate to people more effectively in that way, then now's the time. Come on board. We'd love to feel you. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, a question, whatever it may be. And
and with the comment there, so what they said that they felt was like I feel like it was like a reverence or an honoring, and also a heart opening, like that something had shifted. And even I asked the men how they felt after, because we did a worship where the woman worshipped the men, and we did a circle, and I asked them, how did you feel after, and do your hearts feel more open? And they're like, yeah, we feel like totally more open, their hearts more open, which is the whole idea. It's like the conscious seductress is seducing a man's heart open into his vulnerability to be able to feel so much more, and then he shows up as an even more integrated whole man in the world, and to feel free to be more of himself, and to also fuck off the nice guy.
Fuck off the nice guy.
Which I'm working on too, like the good girl, the nice guy, you know. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and hopefully we'll get to share more of this juiciness with you soon.
See you.
Right. Much love. Bye.